Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you, spending some time with you, talking about you and your business. Going to spend some time with my good friend Chris Kidd. He's a regular contributor on The Price of Business. And his website, Chris Kidd, that's KIDD.com. Financial advisor, financial coach is the way you position yourself, which I think is so needed in our world today. There's a lot of fear and anxiety and emotional baggage around money. And so the concept of coaching, I think, makes perfect sense for what you do. And you got a great guest, a mutual friend of both of ours, for us today. But before you introduce our guest, tell us a little more about chriskidd.com and your activities, and then go ahead and introduce your guest.
Well, chriskidd.com is basically my homepage, my website, where people can go and learn about me and my coaching services and speaking and stuff. My books for sale on there and all of that. But basically, I teach people how to become better with their personal finances, how to become more sophisticated investors so they don't have to rely on what somebody tells them, and so that also how they can become, entrepreneurs if they haven't already.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Your guest?
And my guest today is four-time Olympian and best-selling author and amazing motivational speaker, Rueben Gonzalez.
Rueben, welcome to the show. Good to have you on.
Hey, great to be here.
Real quickly, kind of give us an overview of your story, including your Olympic experiences.
Sure. I'll give you the Reader's Digest.
Good. That's what we have time for, so that's awesome. Good.
I was never the greatest athlete in school. I was the last kid to be picked for PE. When I was 21, I saw Scott Hamilton win the gold medal in figure skating back in the 1984 Olympics, Sarajevo Olympics. And he gave me hope. I thought, if that little guy can do it, I can too. I'll be in the next ones no matter what. And I did a little research, and I realized, the way to go was luge. And so I didn't even know where the luge track was, but I found out. I called Sports Illustrated, and they said Lake Placid, New York, and I got myself into a beginner's class. At first, they wouldn't take me. They said, "Man, you're way too old. You should have 10 years experience at your age." And I wouldn't take no for an answer. Started training, and 4 years and a few broken bones later, I'm in the top 50 in the world, which is the cutoff point, and got to compete in the Calgary Olympics, and that was my first one. And then I went on to do Albertville in '92, Salt Lake City in 2002, and then I was the old man in Vancouver. Vancouver, I was 47. And everybody thought I was a coach.
Chris, your question?
Well, how did you pick the luge?
Well, Chris, as soon as I saw Scott Hamilton, I went to the library to do some research, and I got this big book. And first, I looked through the list of the summer sports. It took me 5 minutes to realize, man, you got to be a super athlete to do any of these things. There's no way. And I started looking at the list of the winter sports, and I was always very perseverant. My nickname in high school was Bulldog. And so I thought, I got to find a sport with a lot of broken bones, a sport that's so tough that there'll be a lot of quitters. And I won't quit. I'll outlast everybody. And so I headed down to ski jump, bobsled, and luge. I lived in Houston. I don't think I'd ever seen snow in my life. Definitely hadn't skied, so forget ski jump. That'd have been suicide. And bobsled, where are you going to find three other nuts in Houston who want to do that? You got to go to Jamaica for that. so that left the luge. And I'd never even seen the luge on TV, but had a little picture of a guy on a luge. I thought that's the one for me. And that's how I picked it. I mean, it's off the wall, but it worked. If you make a decision, and first you have to believe, right? And Scott Hamilton helped me with that. The belief kicked in, and so mentally I was ready to take action. And as long as you have the attitude that, hey, I'm willing to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes, good things can happen.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Americans have never done very well on any of these sports, the bobsled, the luge, or any of those. Is that correct? I mean, this is our first winning season in decades.
Well, actually, it takes a long time to develop luge and bobsled guys, and the U.S. has got such a small pool of athletes in those sports. It's really tough. But we've had the U.S. has won in the doubles luge, men's doubles twice. They've actually medaled. They haven't won. And then and we had the first singles win or medal was by a gal at this Olympics. and the U.S. has gotten a couple of medals in the bobsled too. But typically they're dominated by the bobsled is Swiss, and Germany dominates the luge. Very
interesting here. Looking at your bio, you are the first athlete to participate in 4 different Winter Olympics games in 4 different decades. That's incredible. Congratulations, Rueben.
Thanks.
I got to wrap it up. We have to wrap it up because we're cramped on time. Your final thoughts. By the way, what is your website, Rueben, before I pass it over to Chris?
Sure. My website's olympicmotivation.com, olympicmotivation.com. There's all kinds of free goodies you can sign up for and cool videos. But I've been a professional speaker for the last 12 years and written books, and I get to travel the world telling my story, and hopefully I'm inspiring people to really go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you are. I think you have a great story, and I love your strategy on pursuing your own personal dreams. So phenomenal. Go ahead, Chris, wrap it up.
Well, definitely thanks for coming on, Rueben. It was awesome to have you. I would certainly say anybody that has not heard you speak should either bring you in to speak for their organization or find somebody who has you speaking and go over there and hear you. Because, all right, it's
thanks.
Yeah, I mean, they can thank me for it later.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to both of you gentlemen. Do you want to mention again, Chris Kidd, chriskidd.com. That's KIDD, chriskidd.com. Thanks again, Rueben and Chris. Great segment. When we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there, including this interview for sure, at usdailyreview.com. Make sure you like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter.